a brand new episode of the podcast entitled Couch Potatoes Unite! Which is based on a blog of the same name because it's no homespun tag like the immortal Iron Fist, but we think we're confident enough in our own centered cheese to not have to justify our branding. Take that! My name is Kylie and I love TV. If you feel the same, keep listening in or checking out our website, couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, as you're bound to find some common ground or something you like. For Couch Potatoes Unite, we're all about the wonders and the unique long-form storytelling of the small screen. CPU, ! Is basking in the new fall season and hopes you've been following releases of brand new episodes of the podcast on Wednesdays, as well as new blog entries on some Tuesdays, and as always, we have several more new episodes on the way. Because the panelists and I live lives behind our podcast, the episodes are published once per week. Subscribe to the blog or the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and via Google Play to stay on top of brand new episodes. Episodes already published discuss a variety of shows around the water cooler, including but not limited to Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, The Vampire Diaries, The Good Place, Grace and Frankie, Game of Thrones, Broadchurch, Stranger Things, iZombie, Fuller House, American Horror Story, Doctor Who, Supernatural, The X-Files, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Arrowverse on the CW. Plus, new episodes are in the works, including revisits for a series of unfortunate events, New Girl, The Originals, Gotham, Once Upon a Time, 13 Reasons Why, Orange is the New Black, Schitt's Creek, and the Marvel's Defenders panel will talk Season 3 of Daredevil. We'll be launching new panels covering Sense8, The Crown, Westworld, Arrested Development, Jane the Virgin, and The Americans. We'll be launching a new feature called Versus, where we'll be comparing shows in a spicy debate. And because we look back at shows now past, we'll be looking back at one of our most popularly requested panels of all time, which is Friends. And I promise you, gentle listener, that they will be there for you this fall. By the way, did you know that CPU also from time to time goes live? We've been live from the Bunker, comedy outlet Mondays at Dog Story Theater in Grand Rapids Comic-Con, and we're planning more live appearances and other cool stuff. It's true, so make sure you like or follow us at our Facebook page, our Twitter at CPU Podcast, our Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite, or subscribe to the blog, our YouTube channel, our iTunes channel, our Stitcher Radio channel, or find us on Google Play. In the meantime, if you don't hear your show in this podcast format, fellow panelists and I still write reviews, and we always seek new panelists. So if you have any interest in joining the discussion, say hello by finding us at any of those outlets I've mentioned. At the very least, stop by and leave us a thumbs up, comment, or review. We like feedback. Just keep your iron fists unlit, okay? We accept less violent, constructive criticism, please. Today, we're around the water cooler as a continuation of our Marvel's Defenders podcast series. This series does not have a fixed number of episodes like other series we do. Rather, it's ongoing, given the fact that streaming service Netflix created various series with the aim of combining all of the protagonists into a crossover miniseries called The Defenders. With that said, welcome to the 10th episode of our Marvel's Defenders panel, in which we discuss the second season of the 4th series of the first Netflix arm of the Marvel Universe. In this series, we've already discussed Seasons 1 and 2 of Daredevil, Seasons 1 and 2 of Jessica Jones, Seasons 1 and 2 of Luke Cage, and the first seasons of Iron Fist, The Defenders, and The Punisher. Today, we're discussing Season 2 of Iron Fist, which was released in its entirety to the Netflix streaming library on September 7th, 2018, which means, for the record, that the show is legally available to Netflix subscribers exclusively, as it is Netflix-produced original content. To remind the listener, Marvel's Iron Fist, or simply Iron Fist, is an American web television series created for Netflix by Scott Buck, based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. It is set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, sharing continuity with the films of the franchise, and is the 4th in a series of shows that led to the Defenders crossover miniseries. The series is produced by Marvel Television in association with ABC Studios, with Devilina Productions. Raven Metzner took over as showrunner for the second season. Finn Jones stars as Danny Rand, or Iron Fist, a martial arts expert with the ability to call upon a mystical power known as the Iron Fist. Jessica Henwick, Tom Pelphrey, Jessica Stroup, and Sacha Dhawan also star, with Simone Missick and Alice Eve joining the cast for Season 2. After being presumed dead for 15 years, Danny Rand returns to New York City to reclaim his family company from Harold Meacham and his children Ward Meacham and Joy Meacham. When a threat emerges, Rand must choose between his family's legacy and his duties as the Iron Fist. After the events of the Defenders, Rand steps up to protect New York in Matt Murdock's absence until a new enemy threatens Rand's identity and those he cares about. Today, in the 10th episode of our Marvel's Defenders series, we'll be focusing specifically upon Iron Fist Season 2 with our Defenders panel, all of whom should be familiar to anyone who's listened to previous chapters in this series, namely Kristen, Nick, Kyle, Hilary, and Spencer. Because I think we're ready to light up our cheese and to get punching through this latest solo Defender season, I want to remind listeners that all all of our panelists have viewed all seasons of all Defender solo series and the crossover miniseries to date, and may discuss sensitive plot points from any or all of them. So for those of you who have not watched Iron Fist or any of the Defenders properties, listen at your own risk, as there are going to be major spoilers. Welcome back, panel. How are you?
Great.
Hi, delightful.
Are you?
Yes, it's the tea.
The tea.
It is delicious tea.
Agreed. We're drinking tea, clearly, listener.
Well, just the girls and Spencer are drinking tea.
I was gonna say.
He had a very concerned look on his face. But not only are we drinking tea, some of us and Spencer, but we are also talking about Iron Fist. Are you ready to do that?
Yeah.
Yes!
Sure.
All right.
I'm quite
I
excited.
just want
Yeah.
to clarify, is the plural of chi really cheese? Because it sounds like you're setting fire to brie.
I did that on purpose.
Ah!
That's the joke, Spencer.
Got it. I was just concerned. Everyone thought we were going to be talking about, a wine and cheese party.
Hey,
Which is
Hey,
not a bad thing.
not a bad
Let's do
thing.
it.
I'm all for a wine and cheese party anytime you guys want.
All
Let's
right.
do it. Next podcast,
Like
wine and
literally.
cheese.
Oh, God, that would be
For Daredevil.
Oh
But
my
anyway.
gosh, poor Kyle.
Moving on.
We're going to start with Iron Fist, and I'm going to take your temperature as far as how you feel after watching Season 2. And of course, I'm going to do that along the standard CPU character question, which changes with each show we do, which for Iron Fist Season 2, as I've tweaked it, goes like this. Did you watch Iron Fist because you asked for it, and or because you are the Iron Fist, and or you love being the Iron Fist? When your chi is sorted out, that is. Though you admit that you might allow your passions and emotions to cloud your judgment at times when it comes to the Iron Fist, like Danny Rand, aka the Iron Fist. Did you watch it because you were tasked to do so by your wide-reaching secret ninja organization, or by your podcasting chief, but you found that you couldn't help loving it despite the fact that you felt forced to watch it, and you resolved to stick with it, whatever might happen, because you like watching the evolution of each of the characters, like Colleen Wing? Do you like the show and what it stands for, but ultimately find it flawed? Because you see it, or think you see it, for everything it is, you can also see those flaws, though you've grown to care about the main characters, even to consider them like friends, and so are willing to overlook any flaws, like Detective Mercedes Misty Knight. Did you watch it because your podcasting chief required you to do so, and you don't know what else to do with your life, or what other decisions to make, though you surprisingly enjoyed Season 2 and all the characters in it much more than Season 1, like Ward Meacham. Though you enjoyed Season 1, the second season turned out to be not what you expected and was maybe even worse than Season 1 in your mind, and you felt forced to stop watching, even if just to take a break until it sorted itself or its chi out, like Claire Temple, aka the Night Nurse. Did you watch this show dispassionately? You couldn't care less about it? It's a job, a requirement for the podcast. It might even bring out the worst or maybe the best aspects of your personality to be so unfeeling toward it, but it doesn't mean anything ultimately to you in the end. Like Mary Walker, aka Typhoid Mary. Did you hate watch it because you decided that you detest the main character and his incredible obtuseness toward everything around him, even if he can't help it, because his lack of self-awareness affects your life and your enjoyment of the show negatively, like Joy Meacham? Or you don't want to watch the show anymore because you don't really understand Western pop culture, and you think no one but the Steel Serpent should be the immortal Iron Fist. Or you stopped watching the show because you were arrested and underestimated Iron Fist all around anyway, like Davos, aka the Steel Serpent. Who would like to start?
I'm Nick.
Hi, Nick!
Last time I was Claire, which I think the description was much different.
It was.
Yeah.
I am not Claire this time.
Good.
No.
I'm more Misty.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the season, more than season 1. Not enough to say I was Iron Fist. I'm not the Iron Fist. That's Kyle. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I'll just stick with Misty.
All right. Welcome back, Nick.
Thanks.
I'm Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
Hello. Last time I was Claire
You
as
were.
well, and also her description is very different. So this time I am Colleen. I mean, yes, I was tasked to watch it, but I actually loved Season 2.
Okay. Welcome back, Kristen.
I'm happy to be here.
Your inflections were great.
Yeah. It's the
Oh,
tea.
you just want me to go? You're looking at me. Okay.
Well, somebody's got to.
I am
Somebody's got to look at her
Hilary.
or somebody's got to go.
Yes.
Both.
It's the
I am
disclaimer glare.
Not yet.
Oh.
She did glance. I wouldn't say it's
Maybe
a
it's a
glare.
glance. It's the disclaimer glance of Hilary. Please give the disclaimer.
She was
Hi,
like,
Hillary.
hey, you are my sister.
That's true.
And Kyle will talk in a minute, and he is the husband.
That
Really?
Spoilers.
Man.
I'm just, okay, technically this is, okay, what was I the last time?
Claire.
Really quickly.
Hi, words. Put them in order.
You want me to go so you can collect your
Quiet!
thoughts?
Have another sip of tea. Actually, read the side of the cup, then speak.
I was like,
For the listener, what does the cup say?
no, I'm not reading it. I'm not taking this. Okay. Wait, what did I...
Kyle, bail her out.
I'm Claire.
You were Claire last time, yes.
I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna say I am Danny Rand. I am the Iron Fist, damn it. I like this show. I mean, no, it's not perfect, which technically fits a different description, but I just love all
Well,
the...
but it also says your passions and emotions cloud your judgment at times.
Perfect.
And her speech.
Oh, Spencer! You called him Kyle.
She was pointing at Kyle.
They were just saying neighborhood, they're similar heights, they both have dark hair, it's an easy mistake.
Anyway,
Whoa.
Hillary, you're Danny Rand. with the
Yes,
Iron
I
Fist.
even dressed appropriately. I'm just saying.
That
You
means
even
she's wearing
call-
clothes.
No, I'm wearing the Iron Fist symbol. You even said that I was Iron Fist in our little chat.
I
I'm
was
just saying.
saying maybe.
No, I am. No, I'm just kidding. I actually really love Danny Rand. I know a lot of other people out in the viewing world don't love Iron Fist as much, but I just really do. Maybe it's the tone. Maybe it's just I don't know. I just like everything around him. I like the character. I like the interactions with the other Marvel characters. The end.
Okay, welcome back, Hillary.
I'm Kyle,
Hi,
Hilary's
Kyle.
husband.
Hillary's husband.
And I would say I'm Danny Rand. I love
You
the
were
character.
him last time.
I love Iron Fist. Other than Daredevil, he's on my top list of superheroes. So I love this world. I love this series. And I'm really excited about where it's going, especially where the season ended. In a really great place for the Iron Fist mythos. So I love it. Everything about it.
Okay, welcome back, Kyle.
Hi, I'm Spencer and I'm out of place.
Hi, Spencer, you're out of place.
It's a great last name. I would say that I'm probably more Iron Fist this time than Colleen, but still a little of Colleen.
Okay,
This season was fantastic.
welcome back, Spencer.
That is the shortest explanation.
You
And
ate up all the intro time.
it's my turn. My name is Kylie. That's what I
will get you
said
back.
in the intro. They're still fighting. My name is Kylie, and that's what I said in the intro. Last time I was Iron Fist. This time I'm especially Iron Fist.
Whoa.
I really.
Intensified.
I've intensified. My fist is
She now has two golden fists.
I do.
Wait, spoilers?
A little. Last time I loved Iron Fist. I really connected to the story. I've been trying to defend this show to all the haters out there. I'm not getting very far, but I have been trying to do
You
that.
are in this group.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're not really defending it.
See, that's how I felt defending Daredevil for years as a superhero. When everybody put him down.
Aww.
They're finally all getting their due.
But now I have to say, after watching season 2, I connected to the story the first season, and I really enjoyed all the characters. Season 2 was fantastic, and I'm officially obsessed. If we were to redo the star rating, I'd be on 5 stars now, which I don't get to 5 stars very often, so this is a momentous occasion. I love Iron Fist. I love the story. I love the character. I love Colleen. She kicks major bootay.
Love, love, love.
Yes. I love that Misty was in it. I love Davos as a villain. I love Typhoid Mary as she's going to be a villain, but right now a questionable element. The Meachums were better. Everything was better. And also fantastic. So I'm obsessed and I can't wait to talk about it. So let's do that. What did you think of Iron Fist Season 2? What you like? What didn't you like?
I like season 1. This was a vast improvement over season 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I will say that I think a lot of the commentary that I've been reading, for those that didn't like Iron Fist, they still feel that this is overall a stronger season for the people who really did not like season 1. So there must be some symmetry going on there. Even the people who liked it are still, overall, it's stronger.
See, I liked Finn Jones in season 1, but he was so much more polished in season 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he didn't keep saying, I am the immortal Iron Fist.
They
which
totally
was,
listened to
No,
everybody.
which was really a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
And I liked Sacha Dhawan a lot as Davos.
He's fantastic.
There wasn't
So
actually
good.
there wasn't really a flawed acting
No.
in this entire
Not
season.
one.
All the supporting cast had good arcs. They all acted the hell out of it. Even Danny. I mean, you took the main character's power away halfway through the season, and you saw him without it, but he was still interesting. Like usually on a superhero show, that's like the death knell. You do that and you drag it out.
Yes, Superman becomes man. It
Right.
doesn't work
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But everything worked, and I was a little worried, and I said it before about Typhoid Mary, who's such a strong Daredevil character.
Kyle had very strong feelings.
Well, I mean,
about
she
this
only
edition.
has history with. I mean, she's
I
such an
know,
important Daredevil
I
character.
know.
But they introduced her in a way that doesn't take away from that.
I only had one problem with her. She looked too much like Trish Walker from Daredevil,
Yeah.
and her last name was Walker in this, and it kept. Is that the same? You know, she looked very similar to the actress playing Trish.
Facially, she does have some
And
similar
I'm like,
features.
really? You've got a character called Walker in this show. You've now got a character called Walker in this show, and you cast somebody who looked similar to her. I don't know whether that was on purpose, but it was confusing at first.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say, because Trish bugs the poop out of me in
And
Jessica
the other,
Jones.
yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, again, there hasn't really been a whole lot happening with her, but Alice Eve walks in, and, you know, I was a little bit, like, hesitant about that. I mean, I like
Because
her.
they started with the Mary.
Yeah, and I've
personality.
seen her. But in general, like I've seen her in other things.
and
But I
she's-
already know
she's
so
good.
much about her character from Kyle. Hang on, honey. That
Rein it in, Kyle.
He's so ready to talk,
I was
guys.
like,
You
oh
don't
my
even
gosh,
know.
I don't know what's gonna happen with this. But like, she was definitely, her addition to this season was one of the high points for me. Even though
loved her.
technically she isn't supposed to be
I was going to
there.
say, she doesn't belong in the Iron
But
Fist universe.
It
but-
still it still worked so well on so many different levels.
Well, and quite honestly, there's not a single thing they did with her character in Iron Fist that could not translate into Daredevil.
And she's
Absolutely
still,
not.
she's still in her origin. She hasn't reached the point yet.
Where
I know, you
she's
discussed
Spoilers with her powers and her third personality.
Bloody Mary.
Yes, where by the time you meet her in Daredevil meets her, she's fully formed. So she's still in that place, and she's still an enforcer. Like, she could still work for Kingpin and be put in Matt's path, which I really hope so. I'd love to see her play off him. And that was my biggest concern with the season, is like, oh, they're just giving him Daredevil's villains. But the good thing about Mary is she doesn't need to be a villain. She can be both. That's why her character's so great. She has shades of good
it's
and
dynamic.
evil.
You can use it in many different ways, and it worked very well. for
And
this
that's why the
season.
character works in Daredevil, because he loves Mary, but Typhoid wants to kill him. And they did a pretty good job of showing her
Different
the
sides.
difference between the two. And then obviously the big twist of her evil persona, which also was probably
They're
her.
building up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
She'll be
was
back.
alluded to when they talk about the
How she got out of the
how
hole.
she got out of the
Yes.
hole in the military
In
thing.
Sokovia.
Yes, I was gonna say
Sokovia.
and Marvel things.
Yes!
They're hinting at
Things
her
are
powers
tying
and how she
in.
could have got the powers the same way that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch got their powers. in the Marvel
I like
universe.
the fact that the two versions of her that are in this season are fully aware of each other, even though they're not ever together. There was that
No,
feeling
they're still
that-
communicating with each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
The
like
video
that.
scene was awesome.
That was
Mary
wonderful.
records the video and lets Walker have control and everything. I thought
And
was
Walker
a
leaves
brilliant
her the-
master stroke of writing.
Well, I
actually.
just like
Yeah.
how it opens up with her leaving post-it
Yeah,
notes.
Walker leaving
Yeah.
post-it notes
Yeah.
for
for
Mary was
herself,
fun.
and I'm like, oh yes. And then when she turns into, I mean, just her whole facial expression, her whole demeanor change. I mean, good job.
Excellent.
It,
acting.
I was immediately invested, literally from that.
There
point.
was-
Even like the light in her eyes changed.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
like the first thing they always do whenever they switch from Mary to Walker is they fix their bangs.
Yeah, they
Like
fix their
Mary,
hair. One goes
Mary's
into a
off to the
ponytail,
side.
and
Walker has her bangs down. She's an opponent. Like that's the first thing they do when they take control of the body.
it's a very
is
nice
fix
way of
their hair.
showing differentiation
Who's
in
who.
character. Yeah.
And
So
it's-
it'll be interesting to see. Sorry.
No, you're
what
fine, I'm getting
what
sick.
happens with Bloody Mary? What
Kristen's
her
very
differentiation?
excited.
I mean, because I know things now. I looked it up on my own, guys.
Kyle wasn't available that day.
Wikipedia, people. No, but it'll be really interesting to see how they make that third personality different. Like, what does she do physically to really differentiate?
And just in the comics, she always works for Kingpin too. Like, can you imagine her acting up Vincent and
Oh my gosh!
together?
Awesome.
So good.
Do we
Please,
think that's
like,
where we're
Daredevil
gonna see her next?
season 3.
I hope so. I really
Please.
hope they.
I mean,
This
even
is a
even if it's
perfect
just
intro.
like even
These
if it's just like one of their
possibilities, I
little,
like having
even if it's little,
orgasms.
they have to put her in Daredevil somehow. Because I mean
Okay.
that's her origin.
I'm hoping that she is the bridge that bleeds the two
I hope so.
together.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be really good work of them communicating.
I mean, her person.
Well, I mean, and it would fit because we know in the season of Daredevil he's hiring Bullseye. When he hires Bullseye, he hires Elektra and Bloody Mary. He hires the job to kill Daredevil up to 3 different assassins. So.
Well, because Daredevil's going to have to become an unstoppable force, which is kind of at least my take from the trailer, which we'll discuss later. But
Yes, hold on.
I'm just saying,
Back to Iron Fist.
Typhoid
Who?
Mary. But
The immortal.
her personality traits are just amazing. I mean, they are supposed to be contrasting, and they are a big contrast, but she does it so well. Like, to go back into Mary, who is very, very, she's meek, she's timid, she's so innocent.
But she also knows how to keep Walker
In line.
in line with
Yes.
the running of the water and,
Yeah,
and those
how to
kinds of
keep
things.
herself calm.
Those
Because when
nice
she gets
touches.
stressed, she gets triggered.
And I mean, it would have been very easy too to have them just be like complete night and day opposites, like Walker evil, Mary good and innocent. But even Walker is
A bit of
Walker's
an
more in the
anti-hero.
grey area.
She's
Yeah,
the, yeah,
She's
she's
the
great.
anti-hero. Because
she's a
so,
protector, but she has like the tough skinned
Yeah.
protector
Yeah.
who doesn't want to show.
Yep.
But she's not afraid to do, when someone needs to get taken out, she's not afraid to do that.
I really liked her scene with the psychiatrist.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That was a really good scene. The way that she approached him to try and she's questioning whether
Yes.
there is a third one, and when the psychiatrist, I forget what he said, but she basically put him in his place, and I could dissect you in seconds. Or it was like.
Scary.
There was one thing I didn't like about this season, and it's the same thing I didn't like about Luke Cage season 2, is that Danny and Davos both had many opportunities to end it and never
Didn't.
did.
But
They
it
were
made,
brothers.
It made more sense in this.
sense.
It did make more sense in this.
And I mean, I remember that Kyle has said before, and you're probably going to say it again, that Davos is Danny's Joker, Steel Serpent. And so to me, it makes sense that they wouldn't be able to kill each other. They're yin and yang. They're two sides of a coin. They are brothers.
They have a deep-seated relationship.
A history that, to me, that never bothered me once.
No.
I mean, they have those resentments. That happens in families.
Sibling rivalry. Not to mention the fact that Davos thought he was entitled to the Iron Fist because his dad said so.
No, his mom.
His
Mom.
mom.
Dad
said
was the
so.
one.
His dad's the
His
one.
dad
that
said
did it.
Iron. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
It just came out wrong.
But no, I actually found the backstory between them and having that expanded out to be a very useful storytelling plot in this series. When they showed them playing as kids and getting on and actually being best friends, it helped those moments make more sense. It still was annoying because I'd already watched Luke Cage and those same things happening where the villain has the chance, but Davos wasn't truly a villain in that regard. But he made a good villain for this show, but he wasn't truly a villain. There were times where you thought, yeah, you know what, he's kind of right, but from the wrong place.
He's
Right.
very misguided.
He's the zealot in the equation.
Yeah.
He's the one who believes
He's
in the
over the
pure,
top.
unyielding purpose of this weapon that he has,
Yeah,
which is to do away with all wrong.
Yeah. And then, especially coming from a city with no crime, and then I'm going to stop crime with this power. But for him, everything he sees is just crime and dirt.
All
and
is sin.
And that
And
was
he can't compute why Danny is
Yeah.
even bothering with any of that. He's like, I don't care if this was your original home. You have a new home. You are my brother. We are supposed to be here. You should have protected that. This place is lost. Like, that's basically what he's
Yeah.
implying.
beautifully illustrated when he killed the restaurant owner.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yes.
Mainly innocent restaurant owner who was just trying to stay out
Yeah,
of
he's
the
just
fray.
trying to keep his head
Yeah.
down.
I thought this season was great. I think a lot of the flaws that they had last season also were in direction. I thought direction in this season was so improved. They did have 3 less episodes. There were 10 instead of 13. I don't think anything was lost in that.
I think it worked in its favor, honestly.
Yeah, didn't waste any moments. The pacing was great. I mean, there might have been a little bit in the middle, but it wasn't bad. I noticed it in the middle in last season, and this season it moved very, very well. I was talking to somebody who said that they didn't think the fight choreography was still where it should be. I totally and completely disagree with that assessment. I thought the fight choreography in this season was vastly improved over season 1 and was exciting, intense, and actually, I watched riveted.
I completely disagree with that statement. I mean,
The statement about the fighting not being up.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm agreeing with Kylie. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how can you say that? There was literally action choreography in nearly every episode, and it involved all characters: Missy, Colleen, Danny.
And it wasn't like that quick shaky cam.
No.
Where, like,
Or
it
the
was-
stylized crouching tiger stuff.
It
No,
literally
it was great.
focused on the martial art side of things. Davos, like every single one of them. I really don't understand how that translates to someone unless they were not fully watching the episodes.
And by the
I
way,
mean,
how
honestly.
awesome was that when Davos lit up both of his hands?
The red hands, yes.
So that's my next question. Let's talk about the colors. Kyle, is there significance to
What
the
do they
colors of
mean?
the fists?
Davos powers his chi with rage.
Okay, so that's red.
Yes.
Hashtag red.
Danny's is essentially like this noble, balanced place.
Okay.
That's what it should be. That's
It's like this
all the
golden
Iron
fire.
Fists are gold because they're doing it from.
gold.
It's their purpose. It's their destiny.
Their solar plexus.
Oh,
White is just like a pure instinct to do good, which
Oh, Colleen.
I love that.
I was wondering if
Well,
that-
Kyle was kind of, again,
Yes.
you guys should really watch it with him because, like, literally, he's having
Let's rewatch it all together.
Yeah.
these massive...
Watch party.
Sleep
is. And there's with Davos letting up both his hands too. It shows you he's more.
So much rage.
Because
Yeah.
Danny holds himself back because he's afraid of the power. But
Right.
the Iron Fist is more than just lighting up one fist and it being unbreakable. It's
It's-
fire and like they can charge any part of their body and they can shoot it out even if they want to.
Like a spirit that overtakes.
Yeah.
It's like an entire being.
It's this
the
whole
dragon.
set. It's this
Yeah.
whole set of powers that they've only explored one aspect of. But then with Davos, even Danny sees it that there's more, and he doesn't know, which is what season 3 is going to be about. They mentioned Orson, which I'm going to talk about that near the end. But
They haven't renewed it yet, but oh my god, I
They
hope they
will.
do.
They
They'll
will.
renew them. They're just slow to do it.
Well, this one especially. Netflix, please hear me.
they did the subtle hints that there's some more to this Iron Fist than they know, which is even cool seeing in the final scene with Colleen when she lights up her katana.
Well, it's like we've been wanting just Danny to have both fists, and then it just shows you that they're aware of it. There's definitely possibilities of it happening because it happened for Davos with all of his rage.
Well,
And
and there's
for
a
Danny.
click.
yeah.
There's a click.
Well, yeah.
And there's a
Didn't get there yet.
quick clip in season 1 where he's researching, and they show the grainy 1920s
Yeah, they did.
clip of the
Yeah.
Iron Fist.
Guy running through the woods with both
He has
fists.
both fists, and they're actually on
Yes.
flames.
Yeah.
By the way, that guy in that video is Orson Randall, who Danny's finding at the end of this season.
In
Because
Japan.
the immortal Iron Fist isn't just a name; they
It's
they
an
can live
actual
forever
thing.
if they don't lose
Yes.
much of their chi. So Orson Randall's the Iron Fist before him, and he's still alive and out there.
I felt like since we're talking about Colleen with the glowing katana and Danny with the two fists,
She has pure intentions. That's what white means.
I felt like at the end there they didn't show something on purpose, and that is that the Red Fist, Davos, Silver Serpent, or Steel Serpent, also has the powers still. I feel like that.
Oh.
Well, essentially,
The
they
fact that
hinted
Colleen
at it.
does and Danny does leads me to believe that Davos does still
In
as
the
well.
comics, they did a quick thing with why Davos kept the bowl. The power transfer, it's never permanent. Whoever
Embodies it.
whoever actually touched the heart of the dragon, their well can be pulled out of them. In the comic Steel Serpents, he can drain it out of him. Danny won't have powers for a little bit. Davos will, but eventually Davos' powers down and Danny's chi powers up. They gave hints that Danny was healing supernaturally fast. He kept saying it was his leg pin, but then 4 different times somebody said, you shouldn't be walking. Even Davos said that. So his powers are coming back, which you see at the end when he lights up his Orson's guns.
That was cool. That was a really, really good
Now the interesting
Now
thing,
that's
so
how you
Davos,
finish a season.
yes, Davos now that he has his
Can't even
tattoos
people.
can drain more power out of Danny by touching him if he needs to. Colleen can keep her powers though because she's descended from an Iron Fist, so part of the dragon is
Which
in
was
her.
like the best twist reveal
That was so
thing
good when that
ever.
box was broken and
Yep.
you
I
saw
was
the
not expecting
register
that.
on Danny's face
Which
was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Is why she's called
Yeah,
the daughter
Danny's
of the
reaction
dragon
was one of the best
because
parts of
she's descended
Oh.
from somebody that defeated Shala.
Because she's literally the daughter of a dragon.
Dragon. So awesome.
So they're building up this
I'm
whole
like on your
Iron-
level right now. I can't even handle it.
Yes. So
they're they're
much
building up the
high-fiving.
whole mythology of Iron Fist in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And it explains why Danny doesn't know anything and why Davos doesn't know anything. In the comics, Orson Randall was the Iron Fist before him. He killed somebody that was corrupt in Kunlun and ran away with the Book of the Iron Fist, which is their training manual. And only an Iron Fist can read it. The pages look empty. When Danny got his powers, it makes sense that nobody taught him what to do because
They didn't know how.
they didn't know how.
I can't wait to see this prop. I just want to give I put it in the talking points, but I want to give a subtle shout out to the scroll that the curator had that
Yes.
also sold the bowl. That scroll was beautiful.
Oh my gosh, gorgeous.
I mean, what? Some prop masters somewhere working on this show, you are awesome. I'll look you up and give you a shout out on the blog. That scroll, when she unraveled it, I thought, wow, that's one of the best things I've seen in art direction wise on a TV show in a long time.
Then Misty reads it.
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
She gleans from the pictures in her
I
scene.
think that's probably
right?
the best example of her using
Exactly.
her power, because
Yeah,
there's no way you can figure that out. But if
Yeah.
you know she has these,
yeah.
not just premonitions, but it's she.
Her instincts, and she
Yeah.
just can see something and read it.
well, and I just love the irony because a lot in this season, Davos is constantly kind of lecturing Danny about how the fact that you have this ability, but you shouldn't have gotten it. There's so much still that you don't know about it, but the irony being is that he's in that same exact position, but he's so freaking arrogant. It doesn't even occur to him.
Single-minded.
Yeah, sure.
And I love that
Tomato,
fight.
tomato.
I love when they showed the fight between them for the Iron Fist, because then because if you don't see that fight, you can almost say, yeah, Davos probably deserved it more than this entitled kid who just crashed there. But when you see their actual fight, and you can see when the moment he rips the thing when they're tied, that he's starting to kind of cheat. The people deciding it, you can tell that they've already made up their mind.
Yeah,
That
they're-
Danny's.
And Danny was smarter in the long run.
Yeah. So yeah, I think even if he actually pummeled Danny into like complete unconscious, they wouldn't have given it to
Yeah,
Davos because
it was
that's not
already
what
decided.
an Iron Fist is, and that's why Davos could never understand. He blamed the sun in his eyes and Danny cheating, but it was his own aggression that automatically disqualified
Which
him.
he seemed to inherit from his mother,
Yes.
which is why that
Yeah.
flashback scene was so effective.
With her beating him across the knuckles.
Because, Davos could have had the path that Danny had, but had the actual real parents still alive in Kunlun, and one that was a poor influence compared to where Danny was at the time. What did we think about the Meachums?
I loved Ward.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I would
I
say
did
Ward
too.
is great.
What a turnaround!
Yeah, I was gonna say
Because I did not like him last season.
Well,
and I think
you
you're
weren't
supposed to, but
yeah.
I think
But I
also,
meant the
He's.
repetition of the story.
Yeah,
for
I
him.
mean,
and I think they wrote it.
they've switched roles on purpose a little bit.
I really feel like
the
the whole
siblings.
season is guiding Joy towards being a villain.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like she's going to be a big bad at some point.
But she
I
did.
just-
I feel
but
like
she
she
did
at the
have
end-
to
like,
get
I
back
feel like
the
this.
bull.
I feel like this was
She
the
kind of
first
redeemed
half was
herself.
her villain season. I feel like now they're going to try to bring her back. To
Yeah.
Redeem her a little
They
bit.
tossed her on the balcony, and she did over the balcony. Davos tossed her over the balcony because of their uneasy alliance that went south. Because she found the bull and
It
gave
could
the bull
still go
back.
either way.
But I still love that Ward when he's talking to other people. He calls Danny his brother.
Yes.
Like I love that
Aw.
that bond that he's come around, and that Danny is his actual family.
And that they
Yeah.
have talks, very honest, real talks.
Yeah.
I loved those moments in the
Those
season.
were really good.
And they need each other. Like Danny is so naive and Ward is so cynical, and like they balance each other out perfectly.
Ward is
There's
very
a lot of
flawed.
yin and yang
Yeah.
symbolism in here,
Yeah, there
I
is.
just want to say.
I really enjoyed two things. I mean, having just been to New York and staying in Chinatown, actually seeing some of the locations was interesting because I'd been to some of those places. But I loved in the storytelling how they showed people of desperation being so easily corruptible because it felt very true, very real. That somebody who is desperate will do whatever it takes to get ahead. And that was beautifully shown, and especially with the youth group that kind of gathered around Davos, and how some of them.
Oh yeah, they
Was
were
Cobra
just they were
Kai.
just so
His Cobra.
Oh my gosh.
Or his mini hand, if you want to look
Yeah.
at it.
Mini hand.
But I'm just saying, but it's true though. I mean, he's right. They literally, he didn't have to like really convince him at all. He was just like, "Hey, do you want to learn how to?"
He also
I'll
said
feed
he'd
you
feed
as
him.
long as
Yeah.
you learn to
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
His food, his clothes, and by the way, this thing glows. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, we
And
want
call
that.
me Shifu. I think
Yeah.
that means.
Teacher, instructor.
Teacher, instructor. Now I know what it means.
Not to get too far off the Meachums, because I felt
Yeah.
though the only real weak point for me was
Joy.
Joy's motivations. I just didn't.
Because
Yeah,
they weren't
her
realistic.
irrational. You
How-
killed my evil dad.
You killed my
Yeah.
evil dad,
Which
who
only-
killed your parents and
Right.
almost killed you. Like,
Took it company.
He was
I could
terrible.
see-
Yeah, and he was really not nice, like not even nice to her. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like your rage about that and Danny
It's
and
so
that.
misplaced.
Why
Well, that's why
can't
I
you
love when
not
Ward-
understand the reasoning?
When
for
Ward was
that?
talking to him, he's like, "Oh, that ski accident.
Yeah.
That was Dad. He
That-
listed all these times he was hurt. He's like, I was keeping you from that."
that moment
Yeah.
was helpful for believing some of Joy's motivation, because she was one part of her reason she was upset is she was lied to. Those things were kept separate from her.
She just feels like everyone in her world has been not honest with her, like ever.
She
But it
didn't
also
know
s-
the extremes that he had gone to.
And one of the other annoying things is they're trying to be open with her. Now she's just not even letting it.
Yeah.
Right. And I can understand having lingering resentment against Ward just because there is that agency that he takes from her by shielding her. And I get that moment was very enlightening. But the anger against Danny that just doesn't let up doesn't make any sense.
I can see Danny always being the person that killed her dad, but that moving into I must destroy your entire existence, like that was just
Especially
a leap
since
too
Danny
far.
really didn't kill her dad.
Right.
Ward
It
did.
was Ward.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make
So
sense because she literally says to him, ever since you've been here, everything for me has been destroyed. That's not a good enough reason.
But it wasn't
No.
even
And
her.
it wasn't his
That's what I'm
fault.
saying. It's
It wasn't
for
his
one
fault.
thing, that's just merely coincidental.
She
Yeah.
still
Like,
has a lot of money.
Well, plus she
Yeah,
thought his dad was
calm
dead
down.
anyway.
Have you
He
seen your
just
house
returned
lady?
the status quo.
Yeah.
I liked the interactions between Joy and Walker.
I
thought
did.
those were
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
strong. That's actually
Very
a
well
difference
performed.
in this show and Luke Cage is there weren't any on-screen awkward interactions. Everything seemed very natural, flowed very well. The storytelling moved along at a nice pace.
yeah, they flushed out a lot of that awkwardness from
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
seasons.
And I liked how Joy was kind of blinded to how dangerous Davos was and this guy that she was dealing, and then Walker sees it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's the one that tries to pull her away, not Ward or Danny.
Walker felt a little bit Jason Bourne, but it worked
Yeah.
very well, actually.
That's just because they're
see
building
that.
up to the craziness, which I'm very excited for.
I'm excited for the insanity.
I don't understand the nickname Typhoid Mary, though.
Yeah, can you explain that, Kyle?
She's- Spreads
Typhoid
death.
Mary is her name for her as a collective,
Yes.
Oh, so Mary, Walker
and then Bloody Mary.
are all
Because
up
she
there.
And then they
Associative
all make up
identity
Typhoid
disorder.
Mary. Are you familiar with Typhoid Mary from history?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in denial about her condition, and so she went out in the world and made things worse. And that's kind of describes
followed her.
Mary.
Okay, that
Anyway,
makes good sense.
Mary
in that regard.
Mary knows that Typhoid or that Bloody Mary and Walker are bad, but she can't stop them because she feels like they're her family.
They're part of her.
Yeah.
She leaves death wherever she goes.
Yes.
Winky, winky.
And Ward is attending Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and his sponsor, who is Bethany, an anesthesiologist and, of course, fellow addict.
And as
by
he said,
virtue
the
of
best sponsor ever.
Well, because they
I
were
wonder
having
why.
a very inappropriate sponsor-sponsee relationship, which also produces a pregnancy. What did we think about that?
It's good storytelling.
I thought it was, I mean, if they were gonna, well, again, it gives him some development past what he's been through. He's going in a more positive direction, but still dealing with a lot of his traumas at the same time. And it's also showing more of his, humanizing characteristics, which we didn't see a lot of in season 1.
Well, it's nice that he's trying to build something.
And he's still funny.
He is very
I like
funny.
his
Yeah.
quips.
He's trying to fix himself because he knows how shattered he is.
He also knows how he had a bad relationship with his father, and he wants to be a good father to this child that's coming. And I liked that in his redemptive arc.
Yes. Me
just-
too.
I especially liked laid back Ward at the bar in the last scene.
Oh,
Yeah. We'll get there, though.
So excited to talk about that.
And the triads trying to fill the vacuum left behind by the hand. What did we think about? Because the triads was really the B backdrop. Davos was coming in, but the triads were the impetus for all of the action. So what did we think about that?
It was well played.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you
They're
needed
like
the other
A-okay.
faction.
Well, it's like, I
So-
mean, it was kind of another device, but it worked well, and it provided for a lot of those action moments that other people didn't think were there for some reason, and
I thought the fight scenes were fantastic.
Yeah.
This season.
The triads gave that tension between Misty and the other police. Davros
Davros is
Is
Doctor
Dr.
Who.
I have a hard time
FDR.
too, Nick.
Davos is Iron Fist.
And it's easy to make a mistake because Sacha Dhawan is an English actor.
Yep. Who was in Sherlock?
Okay. I think I lost the train there.
English. That was the thing I
I know.
Okay.
With the two triad groups, did anybody else find the Hatchet group to be a bit silly because the other group had guns?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, give up the
that's
hatchets,
your
guys.
gimmick. Like,
Yeah, bad gimmick, outdated, move on.
I did, yeah.
It should have been like they all had a hatchet tattoo on their wrists or something, but they used guns because they are smart enough to realize that.
They always have a hatchet on them, but
But that
they
was their
use
primary
their
use
guns.
of weapon.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
those guys have guns. You're going to lose.
Aside from the Yangs, I was generally confused about what any of them wanted anyway,
Just
other
control.
than money
Yeah,
and
just
control.
crime.
So I sort of checked out a lot when those characters came out. Not to say that I disengaged completely, but I was just like,
There's other exciting
Yeah.
things happening.
Well,
Right.
And they were just. I feel like they were more in the background.
they were.
I like the way that they showed Davos's knowledge of mystical arts when he went to the leader of the triads and did that little tap 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 on his neck and basically gave him a stroke. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
badass.
That is badass. That's like Kung Fu Vulcan death pinch.
Uh-huh.
I just made something up, Nick.
The Vulcans don't kill.
I know they don't.
Oh, you mean Darth Spock from Star Trek?
Yeah, Dark Spot from Harry Potter.
may the force be with
What is happening?
Some nerd's brain just exploded.
A lot of them.
We all know the difference, people.
Yes, we
Yes, we're all very nerdy.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes too much.
Yep.
No.
So speaking of Misty, I know you talked about it in the Luke Cage episode. Now it's more appropriate.
Yay, she crossed over. I'm so excited.
She
Arm
almost-
and she uses
I was saying,
it.
it wasn't even just like a cameo.
No,
was in,
she
like,
was.
6
She had an
episodes.
arc.
Like,
She
was
feels like she
She-
belongs
oh
in
my
this
gosh.
show more than she
Yeah.
She
I
does.
agree.
But that's mostly because of the relationship
With
between her
Colleen,
and Colleen.
because the best fight scene was Misty and Colleen fighting the 3 Crane sisters or whatever, the tattoo artist.
Yeah, that was a great
That
fight
was
sequence.
my favorite. I'm so nerdy right now. I love them together. I just want them to be best friends and
Just
like
they
just go
are.
on adventures. And
They are best
I
friends.
know, but I want to see more of it because it's so good. It's making
It
me
is
so
so
Like
good.
Misty in this season is literal translation of Misty from the comic books. Like it
Oh,
worked perfect.
yay!
Well, I like the Misty from the comics.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
And her
Because this Misty's
Maserati,
better.
her Maserati hand.
Yes,
Yeah,
That was a nice
I love
Yes.
it.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second because they were kind of, flirty.
Which was a weird
her and
choice.
Ward?
I was thrown off. Yeah, that she was
Yeah,
attracted
her
to
and
Ward.
Ward.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I don't
Keep her
like
on
it
the show.
either.
Because Colleen said some.
She's like,
she
really,
said something
him?
about his look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haley, Mr. Arrogant, that's what she said, something, but
I guess
And
that's a
Misty
slight
was like, you
pivot.
don't see something there? Like, because Misty sees things, and she can see that there's more to him.
well, when they
I mean,
both
when Ward's not all drugged up, I mean, he's
He's
charming.
and their sass is well matched. I'm just saying.
That could be.
It could be weird, but it could
I was
be
gonna
good.
Sass can either, too much sass can be, well, it depends.
I don't know. I'm voting for it.
But either way, I mean, yeah, it wasn't bad.
And that
I-
could
I-
keep Misty close to Danny if she's with Danny's brother, so you could still get a,
You could still
a
get their
similar type
interaction.
of
Yeah.
That's
relationship.
what
Yeah.
I was thinking.
And
They might
one
be
of my
thinking.
favorite scenes that I like always laugh at is when Misty's trying to get help for the henchman, and then Walker comes in and just shoots him 3 times in the chest, and she says he wasn't going to make it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just that very dry, just no
He
frills.
wasn't gonna-
It was- he wasn't gonna make it.
She always does. He wasn't gonna make it.
Yeah, her
Yeah,
Walker
just
face is
no
so
motion.
so sociopath, like
Sociopath.
perfect,
yeah.
like perfect, dead face, like no feeling whatsoever. Hey, junior podcaster.
He likes Walker too.
Misty was great in this season.
Yeah.
It was a much better outlet for her. But she was on her home turf, right? Because Harlem's not her home turf.
Right.
So it just...
No, Misty's out of the Harlem in the TV show. Misty's out of the Harlem Police Department. She was offered a promotion to captain, and she took a sabbatical to think about it. But instead of taking a sabbatical, she went over to Chinatown to help Colleen
Oh, okay.
and Danny. And also because, as Kyle alluded to earlier, she was making comments about Luke being kind of a hot mess as the owner of Harlem's Paradise. So she wanted to get away from that. She
And
kind of
I can
explains
see
all
the
that.
seeds because in the comics she quits being a detective. Well, she becomes like a private detective with Colleen, and the Daughters of the Dragon is what they name their company.
Heroes for Hire and Daughters of the Dragon.
Yes.
Nightwing, like they suggested.
Well, for a while they call that.
DC.
That made me
No,
laugh.
But they
did. said that.
they do start a
Yeah.
company called Nightwing, and then
Oh,
eventually
no.
it changes the
Kylie.
comics to Daughters of the Dragon.
Yeah, when they said Knight and Wing, and
She
she
like
said,
attacked
"Oh, that's got a
you."
good ring to it," I just laughed because all I could think of was Dick
Yeah.
Grayson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of.
But yeah, I didn't realize they actually did that in the comic where they
Yes.
were called Nightwing for a while.
Yep,
That's kind
and
of
then
fun.
it switched to Daughters of the Dragon, and then they took over Heroes for Hire after that.
Yes.
So let's talk about, because this is key and it works toward the end of the season. So as Kyle has already mentioned, Davos, basically with the help of Joy and Walker / Typhoid Mary, transfers the Iron Fist through an involuntary procedure. He loses the fist.
Way involuntary.
Yes. And so, of course, their plan is to try to get it back. Well, while they're implementing this plan, and after Davos breaks Danny's leg, Danny...
Which was brutal, though.
Oh.
like-
Yeah, you heard it. They did a nice sound
Yeah,
job
they
on
did.
that one.
Yep.
It definitely felt realistic.
Well, especially like throughout, as you see that fist blow up a car or smash a guy's head like a zit, and then you already get that established.
Yeah,
how
it wasn't
powerful
just
it
it
is.
wasn't just a regular punch. It was an
No.
iron fist punch on the knee.
Ouch.
Oh.
It was grotesquely
It was meant to be.
brutal.
So Danny, because they're going to try to get this back, reasons with Colleen, who has, up until this point, they have converted the dojo into their living quarters. She will not teach Kung Fu anymore because she's afraid of what might happen, because many of her recruits were recruited by the Hands. So she's afraid that she's sending out people who make bad choices with lots of fighting skills. Danny actually asks her to train him. This is not what she wants to do. She actually declares to him, if I do this, it's going to change us forever. And it effectively does. He insists on it, and they end their romantic relationship. Not to mention the fact that in the process of the training, as she's trying to get him to move past his
It's so cool.
passions and emotions, he comes to the conclusion, because he's also explaining to her that he was afraid of the Iron Fist because he was becoming addicted to the power, and he also felt he could never separate himself fully from Davos. He asks her to take on the Iron Fist. So what did we think about those developments? Because this is basically the last 3 episodes of the season.
I really enjoyed it. And, there's typically in a lot of these stories where you kind of sometimes see the hero lose their abilities. And sometimes it works well, other times it doesn't. But I felt that it did. And I like seeing that struggle because I think with Danny, it is definitely it's going to make him a stronger Iron Fist in the long run. And there's already... That's why I said that. He's getting excited. There's hints of that in the season finale already. So I'm very excited about it. And, Colleen's a badass. So if there was going to be somebody that deserves it in that little universe right now, I definitely think that it's probably going to be her. And when she does get the ability, she doesn't disappoint by any means. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it.
And her unbreakable katana.
Yes!
Oh,
How do you feel about them breaking up?
I felt it was kind of
I don't like it.
It was
a
unfortunate.
rush for a couple
I
that's
don't think
supposedly been together for 2 years.
I understand the reasonings behind it. I don't think it'll necessarily stay that way.
It better not.
But I think it makes sense from that stand. You have to some degree, you have to separate that. And
It was too easy for them to separate, though.
Yes.
Once they
Yeah.
did, they're
Fair
in
enough.
a passionate relationship.
A truly loving, give and
Live
take,
together.
And
totally
then
comfortable relationship.
when they're training for that passion to not overflow and kind of keep forcing them back together just seemed very unnatural.
Or at least,
Wow.
to kind of piggyback on something you just said, them falling apart just happened too easily. Like, I get that
It's like she had an on-off switch, which was
Right.
just so unnatural.
It didn't feel true to her character.
No.
No.
That's what I agree with this assessment. That's why I asked this question, because this was the one thing I think on this season that I didn't like very much. I mean, I understand why she made the decision, and in the end I'm okay with that logic, but the transition just didn't feel like Colleen and Danny in the end in a real way. I feel like that there would be more struggle for both of them, even if
Maybe that's
she
what we
had to
lost
turn
in
that
those
off.
episodes.
That's what I was just going to say. Maybe there should have been 11 or 12 episodes. Because I was kind of sad when it was done. But
Yeah, we
Because
watched
it was
got
so
to the
good.
finale and she thought there was going to be
I was like,
another
what?
episode.
What?
I thought there was going to be another episode too, but at least this finished on a high,
Yeah,
as
I'm not-
opposed to
Luke Cage,
Luke
was
Cage,
flat.
which was just a very flat ending. It was like, oh, okay, there's
I've
no more
never-
episodes, whereas this was like, okay, I can see that. You've got kind of a cliffhanger there. Danny's got his powers back, and now he's dual pistol wielding. Yes.
I'm not.
Just keep driving there. We're not even completely, we're skipping over things. Yes, Nick.
I was just gonna say I'm not gonna be disappointed with the show because it ended with me wanting more of it.
Yes.
So much more.
So I'm fine with the less episodes because I'm fairly confident we'll get more. Even if they don't pick up the show, I'm sure we'll get
I mean, they were
Heroes for
they
Hire.
were slow to renew. I think
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
So I'm not upset about it.
If they've renewed Jessica Jones after season 2, I can't see
They
them.
They
actually-
have
they actually, the ratings for Iron Fist season 2 and the reviews were really good. They wanted to re-up it right away, but they're waiting to hear back from Marvel streaming if they're going to redo the Netflix deal or if it's going to go to Marvel streaming.
If they go to Marvel streaming, they're going to lose.
They're gonna lose
so
everything.
I thought they
so
were
much
going to leave it
audience.
alone. but-
Originally, they said they're going to leave it alone, but they have to wait for legal
Confirmation.
stuff.
And Marvel streaming only exists because of DC streaming,
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know there
and
was
that's a mistake as well.
Yeah.
Disney is rolling out a couple of soul properties.
That's becoming a
streaming
trend.
content.
You missed a word.
They-
Soul-sucking property
They
streaming.
think
That's
that,
what they do.
yeah.
I mean, they're kind of, I don't know, all these, I mean, yes, there are some streaming services that are very successful, but if they honestly think that people are just going to pay
Pay
for
for
a
like
bunch of
30
different,
different ones.
it's
They're
not
not.
going to
One
happen.
of the reason these streaming sites are successful is there's so much on each.
And they're
I really
accessible.
only
Why?
need 2 or
Well,
3 of them, and you can watch just
All of the
about
big
everything.
studios have seen the success of Netflix, and they want a piece of it.
But you
But
can't,
But they don't understand what makes it.
Right.
Great.
And that's where they're going to lose out. CBS tried it where they had a good show on it. Their Star Trek show is apparently very good, but most people haven't seen a single episode
I
because
still
nobody
have
wants
it.
to pay
And
extra
I love
money
Star
for.
Trek.
Right. Well, you don't want to pay the extra money, right? You don't pay another
For
10
one
bucks a
show.
month
For
for
one
one
show.
show.
Yeah.
And that's
the problem.
essentially what DC has with their Teen Titans, that they're
Yep,
live
that's
action
really
Teen
the only
Titans.
thing I want to see.
I would love to watch it, but I'm not paying $10 a month just for one show.
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's not going to work. And like, I mean, at that point, you might as well just pay for cable. Like,
And really,
Yeah.
the
And it's
reason
not
why
like they
that-
don't make money letting Netflix air their shows. Like they
Netflix is paying them a fortune. They're going to lose money on their own streaming
They will.
service.
it's
Not to
them.
mention the fact that Netflix and Hulu, between the two of them, essentially are the market because Netflix has contracts with some of the networks
Yeah.
on cable and their own original content. Hulu has contracts with the others. Prime has PBS and HBO.
Right. Now, if you look at, as an aside, if you look at the Emmys this year, the majority of the awards were won by the streaming service shows.
I know.
They were.
Network TV is
Except
dying.
Game of Thrones.
Right. Well, but that's not network
that's
TV either.
HBO,
That's a
though.
that's
It's
a
premium.
premium show.
Premium.
I mean, you can
Network
stream it, but
TV
it's premium.
hardly got a sniff,
Yeah.
and they should be very worried about that.
Because they're following the blockbuster model and they're not figuring
Right.
out how to adapt.
Right.
And people, writers and actors and creative people want to go where they have
More
more
freedom.
to do what they're good at.
Yeah, not TV shows by committee.
And quite honestly, I have 6 pages of recommended shows, and I can tell you that less than 10% of them are on the major networks.
I bet you most of them that are on the major networks are looking backs too.
Yeah. Older shows.
Oh, that doesn't count then. Cheating.
It's true.
But anyway, back to Iron Fist. So Kylie being in Iron Fist was great.
Oh, I hope she has it for season 3.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind a standalone series of Colleen.
Or Daughters of the
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah.
It needs to be Daughters of the Dragon. It can't just be Colleen or just Misty. They have to be together.
I just read an interview with Kevin Feige, the head of the Marvel, and he says he gets asked for that series every single day.
Well, now I think he has justification.
He does.
Yeah, especially now we've asked for it. I mean,
Yeah.
that should
I mean,
be
had
the-
they listened
Dear
to
Kevin
us.
Feige.
The
That's
vote
all
over
the
the top.
reason you need.
It's us. So then there's this huge confrontation. So Colleen has to struggle to get the Iron Fist transferred herself because Davos, he fights through that thing, man. He is a fighter. and
Well,
a
it was cool watching
survivalist.
Danny beat him pretty easily with a broken leg. Should have been able to to walk, no Iron Fist powers, but just on the strength of his martial arts abilities.
His chi was truly focused at that point.
Yes.
That's what it felt like. It felt like he'd really grounded himself.
Yeah.
Well,
found
that's what I said. He
Danny.
needed to get
And if you know the
rewired.
comics, that's
and
why
if
his
it
leg
took
was
him
feeling so
losing
quick.
it.
Yeah, if it
So-
took him losing it, he needed to get rewired.
I love that.
But I also think that's why Colleen and Danny will end up together pretty quickly. 'Cause
I think
they're
they will.
separate. Like Danny's off.
Well, and I
in
think
Japan.
now too.
In Japan now.
I think
he was
they'll come
flying
back.
to Tibet, but they ended in Japan.
Well, now and Colleen's getting to understand things from that side. I mean,
Yep.
that's normal relationship stuff if you think about it.
She's getting.
Just
Yep.
with extra glowy fists.
Yep.
But
And
it's
a
so pretty.
katana.
It is pretty. And a katana.
and a
The time of light
Wow.
on white was sweet.
That was pretty badass.
Oh, I was like, what?
And I love the fact that the dragon is on her arm and
Yeah.
incorporates some of the
That's
the
her-
heirloom
that's her
from the
thing.
box.
Yeah. Well, that's what
That's
she's
her-
like.
yeah, that's her.
Like his, but with elements of this. Like
Yes.
that's what she. I'm
There
like,
was a-
yes, girl.
A really
so
nice
sexy.
in both Colleen and Danny at the end. There was such an air of confidence about both characters that hadn't been there to that point. Like they're both fully embracing themselves at that point, and that was a really nice
They're
transition
both taking
to
care
see.
of business.
And
Yeah.
I just have to give 2 thumbs up to Jessica Henwick, who plays Colleen.
Oh.
I think she's
Good job.
so natural
Amazing.
and good, and
One of the best people in the Marvel universe right
all 4 shows, really. I mean,
And even
she's,
some of the movies, I'll even go that far. She's just that well cast.
she's very
Amazing.
good. Yes.
It's weird all the stuff in season 2 that I feel like season 1 didn't even touch on. Like there's just a wealth of information and exciting things. Clearly, very exciting things for them to do, and they didn't.
I just think
They like
were,
hardly got started.
I just think, because a lot of shows go through that. They have their first season, they're trying to develop, and sometimes they maybe take a couple missteps while they're doing their developing. But now that we're into it, I mean, I can only see positive things happening, hopefully.
One storytelling
I don't want to jinx it.
One storytelling element that didn't make a lot of sense was Danny hiding in plain sight as a furniture mover and nobody recognizing him
Right.
after the events of season
He
1
was
where he was
wearing
on
a
the
hoodie a
front
lot.
And the
page of
Defenders.
And he was
every
in Chinatown.
newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every newspaper.
What's the line from Chinatown? She says it.
I can't remember.
You were
it
just
verbatim.
there, Spencer.
That's why I remember the words verbatim from the TV show, Hilary.
Just move it.
I was fine with it.
It just seemed a little weak that nobody recognised Danny
Well,
Rand, who'd
yeah.
been everywhere.
Well,
for
he
the
did.
previous
He
year.
did
But he's
mention
like,
when he
well,
found the
how many
pictures from
times
Mary
did,
Walker.
okay, how
he
many times
mentioned
did Bruce Wayne lay low?
he mentioned that it was probably just another paparazzi trying to get a billionaire's picture moving furniture. So he mentioned that people had bothered him
Okay.
before, but that it was dying down.
Yeah, I was fine with it. And he explains it to Ward, and Ward gives him guff for it, too. Like, why are you doing that? You have
I'm
billions
just,
of
yeah,
dollars.
I'm actually just glad because in the comics he's always a billionaire, but that's not what makes him who he is. And I'm glad they didn't go some route where like somebody stole his money, like they did on Arrow with Oliver.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it would have been very
Talk
easy.
about lowering the tone
Yeah.
of this podcast.
Aw.
Sorry, Stephen Amell.
Not Stephen's
That's for
fault.
the DCU.
It's not Stephen's fault.
We are in the Marvel world now. I know you guys have trouble.
Oh, we are all
Comparisons
on
happen.
both.
So anyway, now you want to talk about the end.
No, we're done.
No, I told
Goodbye.
I promised
Can't do that
Kyle
every
2
time.
launching points. This is one of them. Go. End.
So it ends with them looking for Orson Randall, who is the Iron Fist before Danny, and he's like my favorite Iron Fist. He's from the
He's
19...
more favorite than Danny?
Yes, because he has the 2 guns, and he has the Book of the Iron
Kyle likes
Fist, so
that
he
here.
knows more about the powers than anybody else.
Then why isn't he
He's-
still the Iron Fist?
He is. You never stop being an Iron Fist.
Did you not listen to his last
He
explanation?
is truly
I thought there could only
the
be one.
immortal Iron Fist.
That's Highlander.
And I love this idea that because in the comics, or Danny finds him, he's essentially drunk in some Asian city. He kind of just ran away. He's been drinking for like 80 years straight,
Oh, wow.
like shirking
Like a
his
vampire.
responsibility. And then Danny finds him and kind of pulls him out of the gutter. And
So it's his fault that Kung Lung.
it's his fault
Wow.
that essentially also Kunlun, like when the Iron Fist isn't needed there, they're pulled away. Like they're urged to come. Like Danny went to New York a year before the Hand. Every member of the Hand came there.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the Iron Fist draws you where you're needed. And that's essentially what happened with Orson, too. He
his
left.
So see, that's what I said. Like
Yeah.
Davos is so mad at him, but it only further proves that Danny is more deserving because he already knew that he needed to go somewhere else.
And it proves
Yeah.
that Davos doesn't know.
And
Anything.
what the hell he's doing?
What we're going to see
Yeah.
in season 3 is, because Danny doesn't know anything about his powers, and Orson knows everything about these powers.
Yes.
So season 3, I think we're going to get the full potential of what an Iron Fist is.
So you'll have Danny, Orson, and Ward training,
Yes.
In Asia,
and then you'll have
Misty
Yes.
and
And that's what I want to see. I
Kylie.
want to see them in,
starting Heroes for
multinational
Hire.
adventures, learning, and,
Daughters of the Dragon.
I thought they started Heroes for Hire.
they eventually take over Heroes for
Oh,
Hire.
they take it over.
Yeah. Once Luke becomes an Avenger.
Maybe they have to kick Luke's ass.
Might happen.
I mean, I don't know how much we've already talked about that final scene in the bar, but that was beautiful.
yes.
The lighting,
oh my
the
gosh.
cockiness from Danny, the Ward's
Ward's
like, why don't
you
you
really
have-
don't want to mess with that
Yeah,
guy.
get right back here.
Ward is so much more laid back.
Yeah.
It looks like he's so much happier in this den of.
At that point, Ward has
Scum.
fully seen
Yeah.
what Danny's capable of, and
Yeah.
he's like, do it, come on, go for it. Because he's going to mess you up. And then Danny pulls back the two sides of his gun.
And he's
You're
gone.
looking for these? That was
Well, and
beautiful.
I didn't. So okay, I thought once you lost the Iron Fist, you lost the Iron Fist. So again, comic book noob. I don't.
Same
read
here.
the
I
comic
thought he
books.
was...
I thought he was done, and so Danny pulls out the guns and no, Danny, don't go to the guns. And then he pulls them out, and his fists start glowing. Oh my god, I lost it.
And then to shoot, for the two bullets to collide with the bullet shot at him, and he was just like,
I was like, wait, how do you do that?
I know.
And the cool thing is, the bullets that are coming out of his guns are his chi.
What?
He never needs to reload. Those guns don't need to be reloaded.
What is this?
They
world?
are a
Oh my gosh.
divining...
Yes. It's a way for him to focus his chi. Because essentially, Colleen's ancestor...
The nerd gasms
Colleen's
are off the
ancestor
rails.
could shoot arrows with the force of a lightning bolt, and she's the first Iron Fist to do that. And then Orson figured out, if she could do it, I'm going to try it with my guns. And so there's this whole history behind
And then
it.
Colleen's focusing it through her sword.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! I can't wait for season 3.
Probably 2 years from now.
I know. But man,
buzzkill.
I think this is the nerdiest
And-
nerd I've
We know
nerded
more.
out.
And the funny thing is, this is why I was so excited about Iron Fist season 1, and then I was telling everybody to watch it and how he has such this great mythology in
He
this
has this
world,
potential.
and then they didn't
do
go into
anything
any of
with
it.
This is
We
where
know-
they did.
Will
Well,
we
they-
find out more
They're focusing
about
on his naivety.
the Pirate Queen business?
Like
I'm-
Colleen's ancestry.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll tie into the book of the Iron Fist that Orson has.
We
I
may
feel like that's why he will have to come back to New York.
We may get some sort of
I'm very
flashback
interested
sequence
in
for it.
that.
And I would I'd hope to see Shao Lao finally.
Shallow, yeah. Well, dragons are a big thing for me.
As long as they can do the CGI well.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a very expensive
They would need
special
some money.
effect.
Yeah.
Well, they need to stay on Netflix. That's
Yeah,
the moral.
that's-
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, as long as it continues to improve.
Well, it's not
I'm
like
sure
Disney doesn't
Netflix-
have money.
I was gonna say, they'll
But they
throw
won't
money.
necessarily throw it at
They're
it.
not going to throw it at
Yeah.
TV.
It
I
has
mean-
to do well. I mean, it just.
They
has
did a decent hint of it
Watch
in the
it,
first season
people.
when they showed it, his eyes light up in the dark cave when Danny first went to fight. But I'd like to just, even if it's just quick flashes of, I want to see
Yeah.
how Danny fought this
Flashes in the
mythical
darkness
creature.
would be a good way of portraying it without spending too much money
Yeah,
to do so.
I mean,
Yeah.
even just have, because Shallow, the darkness with the glowing heart, and Danny, there's ways you could do it on a low budget I'd like to see.
I think a well-directed
And this show
choice.
doesn't necessarily have a low budget, but it doesn't have here's a scene that's going to cost you $10 million to film.
Yeah, it doesn't, you can tell it
Not
doesn't
an
have quite the
Avengers
budget even of Daredevil, because Daredevil has all these panning shots and explosions, and they scale it back for Iron Fist, but I still like how they managed to do what they had to.
So would you say
It
that
made sense. You're right.
the Defenders made season 2 more interesting, or did they do it all by themselves?
I feel like they did it by themselves.
All by themselves.
Because Defenders left
Yeah.
you with, he's going to take over for Matt, but that's really only the first 3 minutes.
8 seconds.
Yeah. We just assume he's been doing that in the off-camera time.
My next question is, are the hand really done, or do they have Hydra-esque properties? Do they keep
I mean, the
coming
way
back?
they did them in Defenders, I hope they're done with them. If they've done them the way they did it if they're the comic book accurate and they were actually
I don't
scary,
think they're gonna be done with that.
I would be happy. Because even in Daredevil Season 2, they were still scary. And then Defenders kind of made them...
They felt like the
Wait.
foot from Teenage
Yeah.
Mutant Ninja Turtles. They really
They
did.
felt like a watered-down version of what I know. So I would be fine with them moving on. There's so many other interesting villains, and even groups from other than the Hand. There's like Hydra, the movies are mostly using, but there's another group called AIM that they fight a lot.
Yeah, AIM. I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Does the fact that Ward has this illegitimate child matter?
I feel like it'll be part of the reason why they have to go back to New York.
Yeah.
Just as a device. Then,
Yeah.
huh? Okay.
It's
I
not-
wanted to know.
It's not a baby superhero.
I mean, I was just double checking. Really, that's the question I was asking. So, do you believe the show should be renewed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Why?
I mean, that last
Everything
second of the
you
show.
said.
Oh my god.
Weren't
Are
you
actually
listening?
No, yes. And I know we've already kind of talked about what we hope to see in a potential season 3, so that's great. So now, second launching point. At the end of Iron Fist season 2 credits, and I mean at the way end, after all the Netflix add-on credits, there is a teaser trailer for Daredevil season 3. One of 3 or 4 did we watch?
2.
No, the other ones were little ones stitched together.
Oh, they
I
were.
think there were 4.
So there was one long one which had like the 2 little subsections to it, and then went into the main, and then there was the short one that was the end of the Daredevil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or end of Iron Fist.
Yep.
So we've all watched all of them now.
Yes.
I'm going to start with Kyle.
Good
Kyle.
stuff.
Yeah.
React to the Daredevil season 3 teaser trailers, because that will be our next episode.
It's kind of hard to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything. So I know
Since
I know what point of his life Matt's at when he's beaten, and when he in the trailers he's giving up being Matt Murdock.
He's embracing the
He's
darkness.
he just wants to be
Devil.
Daredevil because he's
The
sick of the
devil.
law and his life.
So he says in the trailer that
It's okay. He's still hot, Kylie.
he says in the trailer very much that I thought I could fight this in the courtroom in the light, but
It's
I
not
always
working.
come back.
It's
And-
not working.
And
Yeah.
the name of that storyline is Born Again, so you probably get a sense of what's going to happen. But mostly, we're getting the rise of Kingpin. You see him
With
in
his,
his
shiny
his,
suit.
Yeah, his white suit. Which
His
ironically, the
metallic
first season
white
of
suit.
his first season of Daredevil, he makes somebody mentions a white suit, and he mentions seems a bit much.
Yeah.
And then you see him putting it on, and so Matt's
changed.
being lowered, and then Kingpin is obviously going to be flourishing, and we know Bullseye's coming into it.
I like that they didn't show Bullseye
Exactly.
in the trailers.
I'm glad
Yeah.
they're
I
keeping
can't
him
wait to be
revealed.
surprised.
Have we not met the character, the character that becomes Bullseye?
No,
No, we've only seen hints of him.
we've seen Bullseye in full SWAT tactical gear in the first season
And
as
his
a sniper,
whatever he leaves behind.
and he has a deck of playing
Yeah.
cards. But that was it. Even the only way you would ever know is if you're a comic fan and you
Don't.
recognize.
Yeah,
it.
because that was one of the Easter eggs I
Just
missed
don't.
on my first viewing. And like I said, once Kyle explained all that to me, that's when I went and I enjoyed that season more.
Excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Should
I'm
we
looking forward to
rewatch
it.
seasons 1 and 2 of Daredevil?
Well,
Before
I would recommend it. Just they hold up really well, especially.
Well, and it's
He's-
been 2 years since the last
Yeah.
one.
And
Yeah.
should you watch them in order?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh
That's
my
not-
God,
what I was-
Spencer!
I was helping Nick along.
Oh, twice!
Well, it's a different episode.
Yes, to the listener, it's a different episode. To us, it's the same evening. So
Kristen's like, I'm going to.
You just burst the reality bubble right there.
I don't care.
They're feeling me. Any other reactions to the Daredevil teaser trailers? Other than, I'm so excited. Which I am.
I mean, Charlie Cox is amazing.
And
I
he's
really
hot.
liked
He's
the
super hot.
in that trailer where he's sitting in the confessional and
Yes.
telling the priest, "I'm done with being the good guy.
I noticed
embracing
that.
I'm
the
like, or
devil
I'm
and
just going to
darkness."
confess it right now.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, but
That's
he-
one of my favorite
Yeah.
aspects of the character is that he maintains his faith and talks
Yeah.
to
And I'm wondering if that transition, because he was very bloodied in this trailer, I'm wondering if that transition is after taking a beatdown from Kingpin.
Maybe.
I don't know. Or is this just recovery from waking up in rubble?
We'll find
It's
out.
after.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just checking.
Wasn't going to. I mean, he's.
There has to be
He's
something
been in
that
a
pushes
coma,
him
I know.
over the edge that isn't just the building falling on top of him, etc. There's got to be something
Bloody Mary.
that's coming.
Kyle's
right
trying
here
to not tell you
Yeah,
guys.
please no
things.
spoilers. I want to be surprised.
Yeah, I want to be
I think
surprised.
Elektra's involved. Stupid Elektra. Electra. I don't like her.
I
We
do
only
like
have
the
like
Electra.
24 days, so we'll find out
The
soon.
19th of
Very
October.
soon.
Yep, I asked for that
The
weekend off.
binge begins.
Wow, dedication. It's like a national holiday.
So we'll podcast it on the 20th.
That's what Kyle would want.
I mean, we will honestly probably just watch it straight. Like, don't even bother
I
trying
would love
to contact
to.
us
I would love
unless
to
there's a real
live blog
emergency.
as a
We're just gonna knock
like
it into our
the
lap.
Yeah.
initial
We
episode.
won't answer.
Yeah.
We have
I mean, we
surround
could
sound.
have I've done a podcast premiere party for Doctor Who. We could do that.
It would have
So,
to be on the 19th too, because there's no way Kyle's getting through the 19th.
no, he,
No.
oh no,
Yeah.
no, not if he's taking work off. Okay, now the magical question. Please rank the Marvel properties on Netflix, the 5. After Iron Fist 2, you do not have to include Defenders.
All right, I'll start this time. Still Daredevil,
Mm-hmm.
Iron Fist, Punisher. No, sorry, Daredevil, Punisher, Iron Fist, and then Luke Cage and Jessica Jones tied.
And mine would be pretty much the same list as the end of the Luke Cage season 2. Daredevil, Iron Fist, Punisher, Luke Cage, and then Jessica Jones.
You said Jessica Jones first.
Oh,
Leslie.
yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Okay, because I was like,
They're that close though, where you can do that.
Yeah.
What he said, but not with the confusion with the Luke Cage and the Jessica.
Okay. Fine.
It's a shame because I think we all like Jessica Jones so much after season 1 to see it drop down the rankings this far. It saddens me.
Yeah, because I'm going to change my order a little bit. I know. Jessica Jones is now tied for first with Iron Fist.
Wow.
Front.
because
I love twists.
because I love Jessica Jones season 1 so much that even though season 2 was not nearly as strong as I wanted it to be, season 1 still holds it for me. I think it's still one of the best seasons they've done, period. So season 2 of Iron Fist really rocketed it up there for me because I loved it so much. Especially the Colleen and Misty elements, girl power, you know.
There's more components, it
There's
feels like, to
there's
Iron
so
Fist.
much more, and talking about it with you guys made me. Realized how much I really loved it. It was fun to watch it on my own, but talking with you guys that's like nerdgasms galore. So Jessica Jones and Iron Fist are
Best, man.
currently tied for number 1. Again, that may change based on Daredevil season 3. Daredevil would be number 2. Luke Cage is after that, and then Punisher's at the end because I literally forget that's
You
included
just
now.
can't.
For me, it's just the 4. Like.
You can't connect to it. I
I
get it.
can't. Like it's
It
good.
happens.
He's a wonderful actor. He does a great job with the character. It's just not my show.
Embrace the darkness, Kristen.
She will on others.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, I get that Punisher also feels like it's very standalone.
It
Yeah, it
does.
feels separate.
really
It does
does. And I
feel
think that's
separate.
why it's at the bottom for me because I just can't connect it. And there's no crossover really with him very
Yeah.
much. Karen Page
Except that
came
he's
over.
Daredevil.
He was a little bit of
season
season
two,
2, but yeah, there's
It's,
no.
And that's
yeah,
where it
that
started,
crossover
so it was
started
still
there,
not-
but it ended there as
It
well.
ended. Yeah, that was it. And so maybe when Punisher season 2, if that ever comes out, whenever it comes out,
They're filming it.
you know,
Yeah, it's coming.
if they have more crossovers, maybe I'll like it more. Maybe it'll feel like it connects more for me. But that's why it's last. Just it feels a little more disconnected, standalone.
I'm Daredevil, number 1.
I am Daredevil.
He's Matt Murdock. What?
And then I would put, after season 2 of
You're
Iron
not that
Fist, I would put it above Punisher. Mainly because I don't know what they're going to do with Punisher for season 2, whereas I'm excited of all the places they can go with Iron Fist season 3. So we'll see once Punisher season 2 comes out, but that's one of the reasons that goes above. And then whatever I said for the other
Jessica
two.
Jones, Luke Cage.
Yeah, that's it.
And there was a wavery.
Yeah, it could.
They're on a teeter
It's
totter.
so close.
So mine now.
Your number 1 is Iron Fist.
No, I'm gonna tie them. Daredevil and Iron Fist. I think Daredevil has been more solid as a show, so I can't kick it off because it's more solid as a show. But I don't know. I really love. I knew nothing about this. Now I'm all of a sudden want to consume everything that is Iron Fist. I haven't had this kind of love since Batman. So
And I love, even like Kristen now getting excited about it, like, because I grew up with these characters and getting made fun of because everybody else loved Batman and Spider-Man and Superman, and now we had stacks of Iron Fist and Daredevil and Luke Cage comic, like, because that was my corner of the Marvel Universe, and nobody knew these characters like I did. Nobody was passionate about it, and I just love that Netflix
Don't
took a
downgrade
chance.
yeah.
Nerds bullied you.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, when we were kids, you know, it wasn't nearly as mainstream and cool to be nerdy about these things.
No.
True.
So, we've talked about it multiple times. I had lots of close friends, but that side and those things that I was very X-Files as an example, I couldn't really talk to people about lots of those things because they didn't get it. They're like, why do you like all these things? So, but now, it's very, it's
But
very out there.
it's just nice seeing this passion. That's what was also cool about those comics is they were different than those others because they didn't have very high readership, so the writers could do whatever they wanted with the mythologies and the characters. And
So
they could
real
go different-
writers,
yes,
like, great stories.
they could go different places, and that, like, say with Batman, DC's like, oh, you can't have him do that, you can't do this story. But
DC
with
is
these other
very-
characters, they did whatever they wanted, and they created a very
true.
rich histories for them.
It is very rich, and the more I learn and the more you keep sharing, the more I want to learn. And I have obsession level things. I don't drive to it immediately. So the fact that I'm even here is kind of surprising to me in a way. I really love it. Like, I love everything about the story. I even love the titles on this program. I love the fact that the letters
the
turn
name,
and
yeah.
with the dragon.
I actually really love the opening credits. Like, I know we kind of talked about that before, but I just like the tone and just the look and feel of the credit. Like, the opening theme.
But I think they do that well for all
All of them.
all
I
five,
agree.
Six.
They completely,
I can't remember
completely
Defender's
capture
opening
each
credits,
character's
but the other-
tone in like a 2-minute opening.
And I'm only halfway joking when I say I kind of want the dragon as a tattoo. Well, a small one, not a big one on the arm, just a little tiny one. But I really love it.
Hey, when I was a kid, I wanted the full Iron Fist tattoo. and then I realized I wasn't nearly ripped enough to
Yeah.
So are you going to keep watching?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, move on.
Because you want to, because you have to.
Want to?
Want
to.
Need to.
Need to. Indeed, I'm there. Would you recommend this show to others? Why or why not?
Yes.
I would have done after season 1. I will definitely do so after
Yep.
season 2.
Agreed.
Yes, me too.
All of those things.
Yep.
All of those things. Anything else you want to say about Iron Fist season 2? What you hope to see in a potential season 3, or anything that just blows your hair back?
I am the
Nothing
immortal
additional.
Iron Fist.
Are you the immortal Iron Fist?
I want to be.
Okay.
She's got the t-shirt.
She
She
does
does.
got the t-shirt.
Ironically, I always say at the end of the Luke Cage podcast that he needs Danny Rand. But then when you watch Iron Fist, Danny Rand doesn't need Luke Cage. He
Luke.
can hold his own.
Yep.
Certainly with the way they finished season 2.
Yes.
That made his character very exciting.
Yep.
It did. I'm so excited. I think they're so excited. And we're just going to be excited until they release season 3, which we're crossing our fingers is a done deal. Somewhere behind the scenes.
It would be an epic fail if they didn't.
Didn't.
And moving to Marvel streaming would be the worst thing that they
Detrimental.
could do.
Yes, don't do that. That'd be horrible. Start something new on that platform.
I mean, Netflix has done right by them. They just
It would just be a bad business.
It'd be a horrible
period.
move.
You have enough movies to be on Marvel streaming. Maybe
Yeah.
bring some of those cartoons back and have them there and start some new stuff.
Maybe work on uniting your properties from these other companies that hold your copyrights.
That's-
Just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Although they are doing that.
They're trying.
They're trying. Anything else?
Nay.
Nay. Well, since you say nay, I have to say thanks to Spencer, Nick, Kristen, Hilary, and Kyle for joining me once again to talk about Iron Fist. And because we've talked about Iron Fist and we've centered our chi, I now have to say, CPU is produced by Back Pocket Productions, run by yours truly, the Chief Couch Potato, and hails from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Please, if you like what you hear, would you take the time to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or Google Play? Give us stars, give us comments, give us reviews. Let us know how we're doing, what you like, what you don't, that sort of thing. We love to hear from people. If you have suggestions on shows we might consider, contact us at our website, couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, via email at couchpotatoesunitepodcast@gmail.com, or via social media, Facebook and Twitter. And of course, we had new and old shows to chat about around the water cooler all the time. We have several more new episodes coming down the pike, as always. And if you miss old episodes or just want to know what we cover, we're everywhere. Find us, subscribe to our website, our channels, and our social media to stay up on all of our new events and episodes. Until the next time, Iron Fist is only available on Netflix because that's the network who makes it. and who should just give us money every time I say that. But in the meantime, our Marvel's Defenders series panel will next reconvene very shortly, I would imagine, to discuss Season 3 of Daredevil, which will release to Netflix on October 19th, 2018. So until next time, until next episode, new episodes published every Wednesday. Keep listening, keep watching, stay tuned.
Bye-bye.